Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel and blog. I'm Jenny Hall. Thanks for joining me for another card making tutorial. Today I'm creating a card that has loads of texture using embossing paste, and it has some added ink colors to give it a nice punch of primary colors. I'm starting off with a thick whisper white piece of cardstock that has been die cut with a layering square. I plan on creating a frame for this embossed panel, and I'll use another layering square, so starting off with the right sized paper is a good idea for me to continue my design to the end of the project. I have the embossing paste that is uncolored, untextured, and just plain from the jar. I'm adding a layer of embossing paste and trying to keep the uniformity of my square by taking it off of the areas that are not paper related. My work surface is a clipboard that has a piece of freezer paper, and this will help me to contain all of the embossed area. I'm using Playful Background Stamp Set to try to create a uniform stripe look on this piece of embossed paper. But as you can see, I do not think that my idea or my experiment is going to succeed. This is due in part to the stamp not being able to react to the embossing paste as I was hoping it would. And that's okay, this is how we learn new techniques. I'm going to just go back over and smooth out the embossing paste a little bit and create the vertical lines using my palette knife. This is the desired look that I wanted to get with the stamp. However, I think I would need to take the stamp and clean it in warm soapy water in between each touch to the embossing paste. I have die cut a rose and a leaf from Rose Garden Thinlits dies that once this area is completed, I will add on top. Using my stamp pads and a completely dry embossing paste area, I actually put it in front of the window air conditioner to make sure that it dried really well. I'm using my aqua painter to pick up some ink and just drip it down onto the embossing paste. I'm using primary colors to do this. I'm only going to use 3 colors and watch how they will blend together and create secondary colors. I'm not going to add any green. I'm not going to add any orange. Instead, I'm going to add the bold primaries, which are Real Red, Daffodil Delight, and I believe this blue is Pacific Point. And you can see that we're already getting a blend of color in the green areas. Now I did add more fluid than is necessary, and that is because I wanted there to be enough fluid to turn colors. The embossing paste did absorb some of the ink that I added down, but it also allowed some of it to stay on top because I used enough fluid. If you're to try this method of coloring embossing paste or painting on embossing paste, I suggest you have some paper towels ready to pick up any of the extra fluid that you will need. Here is where the layering squares came in very handy because I have a scalloped large square cut from the same thick whisper white, and it's ready to make the perfectly sized frame for my project. Liquid glue is enough to hold this down. The one thing I can tell you is that as this embossing paste, being so heavy, dried up, it did tend to curl on the edges. So if I try this method again, I will probably use fast fuse and make sure that the extreme edges of my card are touching each other. That would be the 2 layering squares, that they would have fast views to hold them down. But I would worry that the embossing paste might curl up a little bit on its own. This is up to you to decide how much is enough embossing paste. I'm adding some iridescent sequins to the different areas of the card to bring the eye around and explode the color outside of the embossed area. This technique is fun and it's easy, and it would work well with children also to be able to etch a design into embossing paste. Just make sure your layer doesn't go too thick, because I'm not sure how well it's going to stay down onto the paper. Thank you all for joining me for another card making tutorial. Be sure not to miss the exclusive content I share only with my customers. You can become a customer by clicking Shop Now at jennystampsup.com to make your Stampin' Up! Purchase. Thanks for joining me today. I'll see you in the next video.
Thanks for watching the video. Have a good day!